Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Ismono podcast. And today I have a very special guest with me. It's Greg from Suburban in Hong Kong. Hello Greg, nice to have you here
nice to meet you all.
On the podcast. And can you maybe introduce yourself a little to the audience,
Sure.
what you do and who you are?
Right. Okay. So my name is Greg. I'm the owner of Suburban. So Suburban is actually founded around 10 years back.
Wow.
When I'm still working in London as a e-commerce consultant.
Oh.
So I met my wife there. I was kind of like forced to come back to Hong Kong, to start family. So I had no options, but to come back to Hong Kong, and having a very rich e-commerce background, the first thing I would think of is to start a website.
And just quickly, Suburban is a web store for bags, etc. based in Hong Kong. But you also have a brick and mortar store, a walk-in store, right?
It's a long story. So at the very beginning, so I was thinking like with the background I have, with the knowledge I have, all I need to do is just to come back to Hong Kong and start a website doing business, and I should be good. But ended up, many brands didn't like websites in Hong Kong because it's a bit. I would say we are falling behind in terms of online trend, and many brands have wanted me to start off. Before I can sign up any brands in Hong Kong, I had to start up my own brick and mortar store. So that kind of like forced me. I had no options but to open a store. So we started off like in a very small, tiny space just to fulfill the requirement of the brands having a brick and mortar store. So we started off like a 200 square feet warehouse. Like it's like a room, I would say in Germany. Hong Kong is very tight, so it's a 200 square feet warehouse.
I need to calculate. I don't know feet and how much is 200 feet in meters. Oh, that's not okay. It's 61 square meters. 200 feet sounds so huge for me, but it's not that huge. Okay, 61, but still, that's a pretty nice store. It's for bags, it's still pretty big, huh?
Not square meter. It's a bedroom size.
Oh, I see.
Right. So not 61 like a square meter. Definitely not. So it's like I would explain it like a bedroom size warehouse just to fulfill that kind of requirement from the brand.
Okay. Humble beginnings.
Small. Big things start with small beginnings, right?
Yeah.
So I was kind of we kind of like moving from brand to brand. We started from Herschel Supply, like the Canadian brand. It was pretty good, and then and we just ran into like we got stuck after like 2-3 years when the market starts to go flat. It doesn't when the brand doesn't grow anymore. And so we started to explore other brands, and we ran into like a Kickstarter. So we try to talk with brands, that is in Kickstarter status. And the first amazing thing I ran into Air.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was their first Kickstarter campaign on their feed pack, and it was we talked to Andy, the owner, and he's so kind that he shared some inventory to us.
He's great. Yeah.
Yes, and that started a whole new pathway for us. Being like on that path, we started to see a few brands. I believe it was Air first, and then we ran into Evergoods, and then we ran to a few other Kickstarter brand, Black Amber. We're still working with them closely now. So we are. I'm glad that we ran into them at the starting stage. Yeah. And then, we kind of grow together.
So you have a lot of cool brands in your store. For those of you who don't watch the video version of the podcast, Greg is actually sitting in front of a wall with a bunch of Mystery Ranch bags and this big Carryology sign. So are you like the only big store in Hong Kong or in China that has this bag enthusiast brands?
Well,
Probably,
yeah,
right?
I would say so. It's kind of risky, like doing these kind of things in Hong Kong. I believe
Okay.
it's worldwide. Like the thing we see is quite interesting. Many people are buying the bags online now. We have all of these Evergoods, Peak Design. All of them are Belroy. All of them had a huge spread over the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's no actual store that carries them all together.
Exactly.
So people buy it back and then they refund it. Like if they don't like it, they refund it. And I think this kind of like put Suburban in a very special position, because even the guys from the States, they travel all the way to Hong Kong, just to take a look at the bags, compare it on hand. But at the end, of course, maybe because of the pricing issues, they might just go back to the States to buy the bags, because it might be cheaper over there.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, but it's good enough. I mean, having them travel all around from the States, giving us feedbacks in Hong Kong, I think it's kind of like I'm very happy with that too. And a lot of people fly over, to spend a good amount of time.
Yeah, what made you interested in starting Suburban as a bag store? What made you interested in bags then when you started Suburban?
Right, it was a funny story. So I used to trade cameras. So I used to like deal with all these Leicas, all the cameras,
awesome.
equipment.
I like that as well.
Yeah, so I was used to be in that industry, and then I kind of ran into all these Fujifilm bags, the free bags that come along.
Yeah.
So they are normally trashed. So
yeah, they're terrible. They're terrible.
Yeah, so they're usually trashed by all these different vendors. They don't even care about the bags anymore. They just put it aside. So it started. Of course, there are some like bad quality ones, and also, but on the other hand, there are also a lot of good ones with quality, like leather. I believe it was a GF1, like way back, the first mirrorless from Panasonic. It was they call it the GF1. That's the model. So they have a bunch of leather-made camera cases.
Yeah,
that comes with it. That's free of charge, but nobody wants it, so they just trash it on the bag. And one of my most favorite trade before was to resell those over eBay.
Interesting.
So I was kind of looking like at where I have rooms for profit, and I ran into Herschel Supply just by research, and Herschel Supply already was a hit in the States, but there's nobody else selling in Hong Kong. And I ended up buying the assets from Urban Outfitters. I believe the first bunch of Herschel Supply I purchased from is from Urban Outfitters. So they were selling them for like $9 each when they retail at 110. So I see a huge profit in between. So
of course, that's a huge margin. Yeah.
Yes, it is. And then I try to email them and ask whether or not they're going to just wholesale, like I'm going to buy all of them, regardless whether or not they're going to approve it. I'm just going to buy it from their website.
So that was the beginning of Suburban.
Yes, basically. That's right. Yes.
Oh, interesting. And now that you said Suburban has been existing for 10 years. How do you usually decide which brands are going to be in your store? I mean, I assume now you are in a position where you can kind of pick and choose which brand is being on your store, I assume. And how do you decide on which brands you want to have in the store? Because now I see only like the best like bag enthusiast brands on there, like Evergoods, Black Amber. So those are very catered to the bag enthusiast world. So how do you decide which brands do you bring in?
Well, I believe like right now people are seeing like the tip of the iceberg. Like the majority of the brands you're seeing is the one that's successful. But we also gave a lot of like trial and error, taking in like small brands.
Okay.
But they like the majority of them dies out like, over time. So they didn't last after the first wave of the probably Kickstarter, or they might pick the wrong distributor that ruined the whole supply chain. We have seen so many cases like that. that, the temptation of traders, someone might approach them saying that, I want 200,000 bags from you. You're going to sell it to us at a low price. A lot of the brand couldn't resist the temptation of, selling it, but ended up, most ended up quite ugly because they couldn't market the bag, they couldn't sell it, and ended up, they just put it on eBay selling it for they just want to turn it back to money.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah, so I would say the brands we're carrying, you are seeing probably 20% of what we have tried, and what left over is the successful one, but also a lot of them died over time.
Okay, but do you also go out and scout for new brands to see, okay, this could be the next big thing, let's have them in our store already? Or do you just wait and see who kind of approaches you? Or do you go actively out?
Well, I'm quite active, searching for new brands. Some other brands also, I would say we have a lot of inquiries from brands as well, asking us whether or not we can carry them on a good term. We focus on, I believe I would say, authentic designs, because right now we see what we see in the market, what we receive from the emails, catalogs and such. A lot of similar brands that come together. And I think at our position now, I think we have to pick very carefully, because we just don't want to get any, arguments, or we just don't want to get any similar brands that, carry very similar designs, within our store. So we are actually picking quite, carefully on these kind of decisions.
Are you also taking into consideration, how do I put it? Do you also take into consideration brand perception? For example, let's say you see a brand that has a very good product, but you hear via Reddit or via Carryology classified groups, you hear that the brand has a lot of issues with quality or customer service. Is that also something that you take into account when you kind of scout for new brands?
Customer service, not really. I think the existence of Suburban is, our position is how to refine the experience of customers. It's always hard. Having a storefront, you always could face issues like customers is not happy about the QC of the product.
Yeah.
But sometimes it might not be the case. It might just be a stitch that went wrong. Sometimes it might just be the customer not understanding how the pack works.
Yeah, okay.
But sometimes internet, if you buy over the internet, this could be the case where they don't understand the pack, the functionality of the pack, how it was supposed to be working like that. It often I would put those comments into my consideration, but I would say if in terms of customer service, it might not be my first concern, because so we are here to assist brands with how to enrich their products, especially when we have a physical location in Hong Kong where customer can come and touch the product, and we can explain to them the philosophy behind the brand.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think this is one very interesting. So I was lucky enough that Dana D3 came to Hong Kong on his during his Asia tour. So and he kind of he explained to me in person why he designed the pack, how he designed the pack like that. And then I think it was kind of cool, having the designer, having that interaction between me, D3 and me. And he explained to me, the reason why he designed the bag, and the reason he picked the color, why, how Beams and him have the conversation between him and the brands, how the collab came together. And I kind of that time when he visited Hong Kong, I have a blink on my head, and I wanted to bring this experience to my customer too.
Yeah. I think
So
it's so interesting to talk to designers. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I talked to Air, Andy from Air, and it was
right,
such, as you just mentioned, it was such an experience to kind of understand why a designer does specific things, and then you
yes,
kind of know, oh, okay, that's why the bag works this way. And so I think that is amazing. Does it also mean you have on your staff a lot of people who are very knowledgeable about bags? So in the store, people are
yeah.
usually bag enthusiasts.
Yeah, so the majority of the staff work here for a long time already, like long enough to, experience the whole
Oh,
process
that's
of
cool.
getting the brand, how we get the brand, what kind of problem we're facing, what kind of
Yeah.
comments they're having. I mean, yeah, so there has been staff working for me since 7 years, 8 years.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's cool. Like
That's really
we're a
cool.
small group of people. Like we had 3 stores now in Hong Kong, but we only have like 6 full-time workers working. So they
Yeah.
are like day and night. They're digging in bags.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about? I hear so often that Hong Kong has its own bag scene. Can you tell me a little bit about the bag scene in Hong Kong? How it is a little different than in USA or in Europe?
Yeah. Well, I would say Europe. You are like I used to work in London. I seldom see
Mm-hmm.
people using like some like Aero 22, like from Arterex. It's like the most
Yeah.
common bag you can see in Hong Kong, but you never can see it in Europe. I
Yeah.
believe
It's very
Europe,
technical, huh?
a lot of
Yeah.
Europeans are using like I would say um, wax canvas,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that kind of style. They might be using Fusion, like that kind of heritage style of
Mm-hmm.
packs. In Hong Kong, I would say it's quite common. You see like Arterex Aero 22.
Yeah.
Now you see a lot of Mr. Range.
That's
I think
pretty.
the whole how is it like in Hong Kong? What do you hear like the
I,
comments?
that's exactly what I hear. That it is much more, let's say, technical in terms of style.
Oh, yeah.
What bags are being used, and I hear a lot that the value perception of bags is much higher in Hong Kong. In terms of, in Germany, I have the perception that people do not want to spend a lot of money on bags. They don't value bags as much as I believe they should, because it carries an expensive MacBook. It is the biggest looking item on your bag, so why shouldn't it look good? And I hear a lot of that Hong Kong is very a place where people really like their bags. They value their bags and want to buy expensive bags. I mean, case in point is there is a store like Suburban where people would actually go to and take a look at the bag. I would argue that if you would open a backpack store in Germany, that store would close pretty quickly because no one is going there, I would argue. And that is why I have the perception that Hong Kong is, when it comes down to bags, is the place to be at the moment.
Well, I
Is
think
that the right assessment?
Yeah, well, I think the thing with Hong Kong is that the place is so small. Like the density is so high in Hong Kong, so you can easily see a lot of expensive packs that
I
might give you the
see.
perception of people are willing to spend a lot in bags. But I think the
Okay.
reality is just the same. I mean, the spread, there's still people who like to use like a $20 bags
Oh, okay.
versus there are people who are willing to spend like $300 for a bag, I would
Mm-hmm.
say. But a lot of us, like if you study in Hong Kong, they had like a kind of a cool kid backpack that normally costs around $300, I would say,
Yeah.
250 to 3. So I think kids are used to seeing expensive bags.
Okay.
So we have a brand, probably heard of it, Gregory.
Yeah.
So Gregory, they normally like in Europe. In Europe, it's like for outdoor, very outdoorsy, like the camping
Yeah.
bags and such.
Yeah.
But for Hong Kong, it has been like for the last 20 years, Gregory they had like a separate production line from Japan that sells like trendy bags. And I think the idea of like using a $200-300 bags like is already embedded to the head of the majority of the teenagers that this price range of bags exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Gregory is kind of interesting story because you can, if you search over it, Gregory backpacks, day pack. They have all this interesting pattern, like a purple flower pattern that they call it, and people are willing to spend $200-300 for that.
Wow. Okay, that's crazy. I wasn't aware that Hong Kong is small. I'm surprised by your statement that Hong Kong is small. I feel like Hong Kong is big.
Well, it's a lot of like traffic. You can travel to a lot of places, but it's so tight. The place you can just go to so many places in the same day.
And what do you think about the bag growth in Hong Kong? Do you feel that bags will become even more popular, or where do you see the bag world in Hong Kong moving? Because right now I feel, just from my own perception alone, Hong Kong is kind of like, together maybe with Japan, is leading the, the spear of the trends at the moment. At least that's how I perceive it. I feel like a lot is going on in Hong Kong. Where do you see the bag enthusiast trend going in Hong Kong for the next 2 years?
I think the marketing trend didn't change a lot, to be honest. I think what I see, like Suburban kind of like gathered all the interesting packs in, one space. Mm-hmm. Same as Japan. When I go to Japan, the first place I'm going to visit is Tokyo Hands, because they have like all the interesting brands, Air, Masterpiece, like whatever brands you think about, they're all inside. I think Hong Kong is kind of similar. The market didn't change a lot, but we kind of created a space for everyone to, come together.
Yeah.
Because I think retailing in Hong Kong is having a hard time because rental is too high.
Yeah.
And people are like, labor is so expensive. I think for standalone, if a brand has to have a standalone store in Hong Kong, it's going to be really tough.
Okay.
So I would say like the market didn't change a lot. We just kind of like have the collective space for everyone, and then we kind of like collected a union of brands that come together and doesn't really have conflict with each other. We just kind of binded them together. But there's still a lot of interesting brands, to be honest. Like I see a lot of interesting brands. Still, I really wanted, to test, to use. And then having them in Suburban might be generating some kind of conflict, because it could be shady, when a particular brand is taking reference with, other brands.
I see where you're going with that. So what's your current let's not say favorite, because I want to put you on the spot to say what's your favorite, but what do you think, which brand at the moment is very interesting to you, and where you say, they make some very unique moves that are interesting and that could potentially hit it off or are already hitting it off? Is there any brand that comes to mind where you say, that is very interesting?
Well, I mean, Evergoods definitely is my first, I would say. Having tested, I mean, the first review I read from Evergoods, probably from you, if I have not remembered wrong. I like Evergoods a lot. The whole company uses Evergoods.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't. The first one that comes to my mind is Evergoods because all the like a 3D cutting, Calvin Lee has put a lot of effort in. We had tailors that come to Hong Kong, just to want to have a look. At the bag, and every single one of them, when they have hands on, they're like, oh my God, especially the CAP 0.5.
Yeah.
So the first instant they come into the store, and then they're like, this is amazing. All the 3D patterning that Calvin Lee is putting his effort on, is phenomenal for them.
Yeah. Wow. That's very high marks or high praise for Evergoods. I really like Evergoods, but honestly, I don't have the good knowledge to 100% understand how everything is put together. And hearing that actually tailors are coming to your store to check out the bags, that is quite a compliment.
Yeah, there's actually, it's quite interesting because I don't usually stay, in the office, because I can't work, like I can't focus on my work. But when I'm in, I kind of meet interesting people. There's some makers come in, some brand owners come in, some store owners, from Canis. I remember there's one time Canis from France, their owner came in, and we have all these kind of different people come together, and then we look into bags, like the successful of in terms of design or marketing. We always have like very interesting conversation, in the store when I ran into those people.
That's awesome. I would love to visit in the future at some point. I would really like to
please do.
Take a look.
We are expanding, and we are expanding, and we just want to have our own, we want to have more experience for customers. We want to show them. We now have our own embroidery machine, so we make patches. We have our own repairing team. But at a point, I wanted to show, to the consumers as well, how this kind of thing works.
That's so cool.
Yeah, because in Hong Kong, I think it's it's kind of like old industry. If we don't keep it, if we don't try to market this thing again, it's just gonna disappear in Hong Kong, like over time.
Oh, I hope I can at some time come to Hong Kong and visit your store. That would be amazing.
Please do. You're always welcome.
That would be cool. Is there a Hong Kong based brand that is also clearly marketing itself from Hong Kong that you really like? So a local brand. I know that Air is in Hong Kong, right?
No, Air is not. Air is from San Francisco.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Right.
So Andy's Korean, and I believe they are in San Fran. So
but which brand is from Hong Kong? That was
Able Carry.
Able Carry. That was totally my mistake. I had a big A in my mind. That was such a stupid mistake from me. But I was having Able Carry on my tongue, but I said Air. Yeah, of course. Able Carry is from Hong Kong. So is any other brand from Hong Kong where you say, those guys are amazing? But I mean, Able Carry already. I love Able Carry bags.
Yeah, Able Carry is it's really good. It's very iconic. Because like the fabric they use X-Pack. I believe they solved one of the most common questions we got asked. Is the backpack water resistant? It's so good. Having X-Pack within the house, and then you can always use water just to pour it on the backpack and show them cool. How water resistant it is. And I think Able Carry is definitely the most iconic one at the moment.
Yeah.
We have one called Donut. We don't carry it in Hong Kong, but it's definitely a brand that every Hong Kong people knows about.
Okay, Donut. Interesting.
Yes. So it's Donut. They're like I would say the majority of bags are under $99. I would say.
Oh, Donut. Oh, like that. Okay.
But it's not the very technical bag.
No.
Yes. But and then it kind of hit the mainstream market for Hong Kong.
I see.
And I would say we still have quite a bit of brands of local Hong Kong brands, but probably they're unseen.
How is it for you as an Asian as well? We Asians, or let's not we Asians, but Asian brands sometimes still get the perception of not being high quality. And I feel like it is a very unfair assessment sometimes because Asia is so big, and obviously it's unfair to say, oh, that bag or that item is made in Asia, therefore it's not as good. Do you sometimes feel that is an unfair perception, or what's your thought about that sometimes, especially when you see some brands like was it Gorok that changed from made in America to made in, are they in Vietnam now? I'm not sure.
Yeah, in Vietnam.
And I think that is such an unfair perception. What's your thought about that?
No, I mean, Asian-made bags are fine. Vietnam are making really good bags.
Yeah, exactly.
All leather goods are made in Vietnam at the moment.
Yeah.
The majority of the design and manufacturing from Rister range now is actually from Vietnam as well. So yeah, I would say it's fair, to be honest, that I would say Asian brands. I wouldn't say Asian-made bags are not good quality, but I would say Asian brands, because a lot of them put they focus on the cost of the bag, I would say. So they would cut off a lot of features on the bag just to try to hit the cost of the bag. So it would be more economically reasonable to manufacturing in mass. I think they always have, it's just a matter of choice, I would say. If they wanted to hit like the mass market, some of them want, the cost to be under $20 US, I would say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've seen a lot of samples like that. Yeah. But eventually, I think I would say a lot of Asian brands, they put their focus there. But for for the US brands, they are more focused on the quality. The cost is definitely a concern, but they wouldn't place it like at the at the top. So I would say like the Asian mindset, or probably that kind of mindset. But I wouldn't say either of them is wrong. I mean, we see a good side of having good margins because some features are being cut. But on the other side, the good side, I would say the brands we carry, most of them put quality over the concern over the cost.
Yeah. I like you can tell the difference. That's a very objective and answer, and very good assessment on that. I like that a lot. So I would love to get to know a little bit more about your personal use and taste. So I would love to ask you, what's your current everyday carry bag and your current travel bag?
Right. So my current everyday bag is a CTB 26.
Oh, that's a great bag.
Yes, it was a CTB 35. I know it's kind of weird, but I kind of like. So I was testing out on the CTB 35. I was testing out on the CTB 35. I think it fits in all my drones, cameras, and stuff inside. Yeah. Because I drive like 99% of my time, like from spot to spot. So I don't have an issue with the size of my bag because it's always with the car. Yeah. So I don't like to switch bags like very often. And there's a time where my friend wanted to test out, Evergoods, because knowing that so many good reviews about it. So he wanted me to borrow him my CTB 35, and never got returned back. So I had to, it was so good. I just had to open the new one. So at that time I had a olive green CTB 26. So I just opened it. It was a return bag without any issue. He just returned back, and it was on my table. So I'm like, I'm going to use it.
But do you miss the missing volume? Or is 26
I'm actually, it's fine, yeah. So 26 is actually quite good for me too.
So you pack your drone, your camera. What kind of camera do you have? So is it a full frame?
It's a Sony A7 with 2470.
Okay, it's fairly big. The drone, probably a DJI drone in a case, I assume.
Yes.
And what else do you pack then?
I do one laptop and iPad as well for my second monitor.
Okay. So I assume a MacBook 16-inch or something.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So like the digital nomad kind of.
Yeah. And do you pack anything else?
My pouch, my cable pouch.
Okay. Which one is it at the moment? Probably Evergoods, right?
CP2. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, great. Okay, but then it's already getting quite full. Do you pack the camera inside the cube, or do you just throw the camera inside?
It's inside a Peak Design camera cube.
Okay, then now it's getting fuller. Okay, so you have one case for the drone, one case for the camera, and then the cap 2 liters. Anything else that you pack inside?
A water bottle. Outside. Okay. Yes.
Outside. Okay.
Yeah, but so right now, there's an interesting bottle that I have been using called a Rhino Shield. It's a water bottle, but with a MagSafe function. So I can always use it as my tripod.
Oh, I've seen those. Okay, so you're an iPhone user, and then you use the. Oh, that's cool. And is it you just stick the phone then with the MagSafe on the bottle, and then it's your tripod? So
that's cool. Right. Yes, and I love it. I mean, there's of course I have my mini tripod inside, but from time to time, when that moment came when you needed the tripod the most, the water bottle is right outside, the bag, and it's so convenient. Exactly. With MagSafe, you can set up the whole thing in like 10 seconds. So
you're a person that needs a water bottle pocket on the outside with all of your bags?
I kind of got used to CPL 24, but after I have a water bottle, like after I had the CDB 26, it's so convenient. I can just dump anything inside. Even sometimes when I can't find a litter bin outside, I just trash whatever inside.
Oh yeah. That's right. That's right. That's a good feature for water bottle pockets. Yeah.
Yes.
And your travel bag? How do you travel? What's your travel bag of choice at the moment? Are you a one-bag traveler? Or
yes,
do you check
I am. Okay. I am a one-bag traveler, but I recently ran into Matador. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. Matador, they have a Global Rider 45 liter.
Okay.
So I love that.
That's the one with the 3 slots, right? I've never reviewed the Matador before.
They had a new one, I believe. Let me check. I'm not sure if I got the name right. Hold on. Yeah, Globe Rider 45. That's the name.
Oh yeah, that one. That's pretty big. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 45 liter, but I love the way it is because I tested it for so many times. I even tried to put it to send it. How do I say it? To send it as luggage.
As check-in luggage, you mean?
Yeah, check-in luggage. Yeah, I tried checking the luggage. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I don't need it to check it in, but I just want to test, if it's going to rip off or is it going to be something stolen inside. But it works and you can store the strap inside the backpack, so it doesn't. It's kind of clean, and I love it so far.
So when you're one bag traveling with that bag, do you only carry that bag, or do you also have like a sling bag?
No, I always have one packable backpack.
Okay.
And occasionally I bring a sling, but not necessarily like all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I use either a Bellroy Light backpack, or I use a Matador Beast 18.
That's quite surprising. I always hear people when they one bag travel that they at least have a small bag on the body. So you only have the Matador bag, and then you put it in the overhead compartment, but you don't. When you're sitting at your seat, you don't have like a bag with you, or what's your in-flight setup then?
Right. Well, when I'm on the flight, I always take my laptop out. That's it. Like laptop and my cable pouch. But that's it. Like, I mean, for the secondary backpack is always, when I landed and check in the hotel, I wanted, to go out and walk around. And that's the only like need for my secondary backpack for.
But
so I don't normally just carry a sling because laptop is always, with me.
Yeah, I see. So, but also on your day-to-day basis, do you use a sling bag?
Yeah, I do. I do export with me when I bike. So I use the Coda Bell.
Which one?
Export.
The Export? Yeah, Export. I like that bag. That's
that one
an amazing
is perfectly
bag.
for bike. Like if if you bike in the city, I think it's good. It has like all the waterproofness it has. You know, when it rains, the outer shield is always waterproof. And the second one, I was using the Chimera. I just tested in Singapore. I like it because it fits in the iPad perfectly. So I'm on the 11. I'm on the 11-inch iPad, and you know, I just love it. It just slightly fits in perfect.
Speaking of sling bag, what's your daily? What do you pack on a daily basis? If it's not your backpack, I mean, we just talked about your backpack, but if you have just a sling bag, or if you just put, what do you put in your pockets or in your sling bag on a daily basis?
iPad, that's a must. Like, just a very basic one. And then I have my charger. So I had a backup battery for working on the go.
Like a power bank or something.
Yeah, power bank. Yeah, that's right. So I use a 20,000, if I don't remember wrong.
Yeah.
So it kind of like fills up. I bring my secondary iPhone with me.
Why do you need a secondary iPhone?
You
mean like work on private, or is it?
Yeah, secondary iPhone is always for when I needed it. You know, it's like a condom. You know. When you need it the most, you never, when you need it the most, you're gonna need it. Like, it's always good to have it, to have it with you when you don't need it, other than when you need it and you don't have it.
If you accidentally drop your primary iPhone and then the screen breaks, you have a secondary iPhone. That's
because I needed to stay connected with with my staff, and then and with my family, especially when I'm working abroad. I think that's the most important thing to do.
Oh, okay. So when you're working abroad, you also put like a local SIM card in the secondary iPhone and stuff like that.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I see.
And with the kids around, when you have the second iPhone is always my lifesaver. When I need that silence, from them, it's not the best way to do it. But when I needed absolute silence, AirPod and iPhone, it clears all the sound. Yes.
I see. So, okay, we have an iPad, we have a secondary iPhone, we have a charger and a power bank.
Yes,
anything else that you pack?
No, I don't even bring my wallet.
What's your wallet?
No. My wife made me one, so I have no choice. So that's my only wallet I'm going to bring. So I used to have a card pop-up one. I forgot. It was, I forgot the name. It was like a...
Extra secret?
Secret. Yeah, it's a secret. Yeah. I love my secret so bad.
Yeah, that's a great wallet. And what about a knife or multi-tool? I don't know. What's the law in Hong Kong in terms of knives? Is it just as strict like in Germany?
It's quite... You better avoid it now, especially after the protest. I would say I always avoid bringing an EDC knife with me.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
So if you get caught with a knife, is it just a fine, or do they actually take you in? Or
no, I mean, I never encountered before. To be honest, I don't have a problem, but I just don't feel right. Carrying being so sensitive in Hong Kong. I would just avoid. This is a question that being asked most of the time when people try to come to Hong Kong, and they're always asking, whether or not they can bring an EDC knife. But my advice is, if it's not necessary, it's just better to avoid, unless you're going outdoor. If you're going camping, that's fine. So I would say I always avoid bringing one.
I think it's a shame that not many brands kind of embrace the countries that have these strict laws. I would love to see more. I know that there are like the Leatherman TSA tool and stuff like that. I know that there are.
We do carry the Leatherman.
I mean, that would be... I don't understand why there aren't more options available for countries like Hong Kong, Germany. UK is also very strict with knives. Why don't they make more EDC-friendly tools without a blade? That would be awesome. Again, I know that there are options, but not that many.
James brand probably has some.
Yeah, but still, it has the scissors. I'm not sure about the one that you mean, I mean, there is the scissors on there and something else that I forgot. And I feel that the scissors still would be considered a weapon. So I think they should make something without any blades on them.
Yeah, sure. That would be cool. Like if only like all the screw jack and stuff that we needed, it would be so
pliers, cool. So pliers, screwdriver, I don't know, maybe a pen or something. That would be cool if they had that.
The James brand, the first collab with James brand and Carology, I think that's exactly what it is. They got a pen and they got a screwdriver.
Yeah, but those are two separate I have ones. That one. Yeah, those are two separate, and I feel it was so expensive that I don't want to carry it around, and I don't want to lose one of them. So yeah, I would love to have something, you know, like the Swiss Army knife one, but without the blade. That would be cool to have.
Right, that's true. That's true.
Again, I know. I think Gerber has one, Leatherman has one, and Swiss Army knife as well, Victorinox, but they aren't that great as far as I know. But yeah.
Right, yeah. Well, we do carry like the very basic version of Victorinox, like the simple blade, like which is like $30.
Yeah. And one last question: what do you think is the next bag that you haven't gotten in hand, but you're really looking forward to checking out?
Let me think. The brand that we wanted to test out. That's a hard one. I had a couple on my list with Bellroy, but I couldn't mention the name as I've seen it. Yeah, but like it's a shame it's going out soon, but I can't say that. That would be a very interesting one. Let me think about other brands that
I mean, maybe there is a bag already out, but you just haven't gotten your hands on it. Maybe also already in your store, but you didn't have the time to test it yet.
Right. I'm just, eyeing on whatever it is.
Scanning the room.
Right. Yeah. Well,
too many options.
Yeah. Well, I would say Breathing. I'm not sure if you heard about it. So we have a brand called Breathing, Briefing. So it's a lifestyle brand from Japan. So they sell like they're very simple bags, but with like a high quality basic function for everyday use. They're in good colors. They're like in coyote with moly and made in USA.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm not on the website now. They look very technical and somewhat reminds me of like fishing.
Yeah, well, it's we kind of got it in the store for like half a year already. I still have not a chance to, just test it because I like colors like coyote and I don't like black, but they're all sold out like in a second that I don't have a chance to get it myself.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to carry it knowing that, there are so many good words, that good feedbacks, customer, telling us, how good it is, how long lasting they are.
Never heard of that brand.
Yeah, so we just recently scored the brand, like I believe it was last September. Yeah, I traveled to Japan last September for their showroom, and then we signed it back. It's very good so far.
Interesting. As I said, just looking at the website, my first impression is that this looks a little bit like fishing equipment, but obviously it's not. But they also have like golf bags. Interesting.
Golf is
portfolio.
Like, what I have known is that golf is like going really good. The market for golf equipment is going so good now in Japan. I'm not sure Germany.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hong Kong is a rich people sport, so not a lot of people have access to. Right. So Japan, there is what I was told that Japan is very having easy access to golf.
Yeah.
And they're trying really hard to push, but they also told me the same thing. But for me, I've told them already, like Hong Kong is is a rich people sport. We can still sell some, but it definitely not in the mass market.
Yeah. Same in Germany. Golf and tennis is somewhat, or maybe although many people who are quite privileged play tennis, but golf definitely is rich person's
rich people sport.
sport. Yeah, exactly.
All of the membership is like so expensive.
It's crazy, yeah.
It is.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for answering all of my questions. Where can people find you?
Well, they can find us on suburban.com.hk, which is our website definitely. We are also we have 3 stores in Hong Kong now. So
that's amazing.
So we have one in Kowloon, we have one in Hong Kong Island, and we recently opened a Bellroy store in the New Territories as well.
Oh wow! You have a Bellroy store.
Yeah, so
that is amazing.
So I'm proud because that's like only Bellroy store that really has existing.
Yeah.
Of that.
Congratulations!
Thank you very much. I mean, the whole team spent a lot of effort, and with the support, Bellroy did design, like it was a lot of design work on the fixtures as well, and we just recently made it happen. We had it for a month so far. Results are doing so good. I mean, many people just travel all the way. They never knew that there is a Bellroy store, and then with a dedicated space where people can. Bellroy is such a everywhere you're on the internet there's Bellroy, so the coverage is like so huge in the market. But and then when it comes to brick and mortar store, it's not. There's not that many, and I'm so proud of, like, after a long communication with them, we planned it for a long time and we made it happen, and it was launched in May, and now it has been a month. Results are doing good, so very good so far. And, the most important thing is that people are, experiencing Bellroy. I mean, a lot of brands deserve that chance, to be seen, like, in person, because they are also great. I mean, but having this space is a very luxurious experience, I would say.
Of course.
In the modern world, because, all the rental is so expensive. It's all about conversion. Like, every country is having a bad economy now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yes, and it's just very luxurious, and we are just so lucky to have a dedicated space for
it's so
showcasing it.
I think it's so cool that you really have stores, and I mean 3 of them where people can walk in and experience that. I would love to see a store in Germany, but as I said, I don't believe that a store in Germany would actually succeed in the long run. They would need a lot of money to kind of stay afloat for a long time.
I was in the European market. We actually had a branch in Manchester, like a suburban branch in Manchester. We failed because the return rate is so high, and my worst experience of return. One of the reasons I closed down the European market is that I received that we have a bunch of returns. The worst one I seen was a backpack with a lunchbox inside. So inside the lunchbox is I don't know how long it has been. It was put aside. It was returned after a few months, saying that they had like a 30 days return, like no question refund policy in Europe.
Yeah.
And then people just try it on, they use it. We've seen like with books inside, with food inside, and we had like I believe it was like 25% return rate at that time.
That sucks.
Yeah. I mean,
but that's as I said, that's my perception of Germany as well. I don't see a physical store being successful in Germany, unfortunately. But that's why I think it's so amazing that you have 3 stores in Hong Kong. And I mean, just looking at the back of your video, it looks amazing, and I hope I can visit Hong Kong in the future. That would be amazing.
Please do. We are planning. Yes. Please do come over. I mean, we can definitely look into something like, to fly you over to Hong Kong just for a visit. I mean, definitely it's going to be an experience.
That would be really cool. All right. Thank you so much for the great talk. And everyone, check out, if you are in Hong Kong, definitely check out Suburban and tell me how it was, because I would love to know. And of course, also, I think you're on Instagram as well, right? At Suburban
HK.
HK, yeah. So everyone, check out Suburban if you are in Hong Kong. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Greg, for
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Of course. And we all hear you in the next episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.